Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Esthetician Edit. Today we are here with Carrie Kates, and she's coming all the way from Dallas, Texas. We're so excited to have you. Thank you for flying to Miami. So we're going to get to know her journey as an esthetician. She's been an esthetician for 8 years, you said.
Yes.
And then how she found Sorella Apothecary, and we're going to dive into that brand and how she uses it in her practice. So if you don't mind first sharing what drew you to aesthetics. I know you said you first started with permanent makeup.
Right. So it's kind of been a journey, honestly. I love how you termed that simply because I actually have a degree. I went to school, much like yourself, and got a degree in retail merchandising. So I like to kind of say my journey is starting to come full circle. After that, I took a little break, became a mommy to two beautiful girls, kind of let them, get a little older. And then my husband bluntly told me it's time for a career. And so I really didn't want to get into retail just simply because that environment is so ever changing. And I knew I wanted to still be very hands-on mommy. So I had a good friend that recommended permanent makeup, which was kind of on the cusp of, I've been doing that now for 10 years. And so I started doing that. And about 3 years in, I kind of had the urge to understand more about what was going on with the skin. As a permanent makeup artist, the regulations are very loosely regulated. And so I started seeing things happening with the skin that I did not have answers to for my clients. And so I started understanding a little bit more about that, and I decided I want to be an esthetician. I want to do all the things, and I really love skin. So I went to school to be an esthetician, and that's truly how my aesthetics journey has started. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
For one, that's another reason I got into aesthetics was I was like, I want to be a mom one day.
Yes.
What career fits my personality too? Like I'm always changing what I like, and this is such an industry where you can start off with permanent makeup and then go into skin if it's not for you. When did you realize the permanent makeup was just like, is it something that you were like, this is not for me, or more so you fell in love with skin more?
I feel like it was an evolution. Like I said, I started seeing things happening within the skin that I just quite honestly didn't have the answers for my clients. And I was like, I need to know more. I need to educate myself more. Education is very important to me. And I didn't realize how important it was until I started this esthetician journey. And so really just helping to understand and be able to communicate that with my clients was becoming very important to me as a permanent makeup artist. I still dabble a little bit in permanent makeup, mostly still microblading, but I solely am focusing more and more on just specific skin treatments.
And do you have, well, I'm sure you have, but let's ask what your skincare philosophy is. Like when you think of your brand, what does it kind of exude for you?
So for me personally, especially when I was in aesthetics school, I started leaning more and more into the holistic side of aesthetics and what that truly kind of means for me. Honestly, I think every esthetician is different on what, specific genres mean. I grew up in an environment and a mother that was very, I like to say she was granola before there was granola. We had a garden. She was fully involved in supplements, things that were very holistic driven. And so those things very much like I gravitated towards. So like gua sha was kind of new and happening. Just kind of starting to treat more of the root causes of things within the skin versus just, doing a protocol just because there's a protocol out there. So that's something that I feel like naturally kind of pulled to, gravitated to more and more.
And did you go solo right off the bat? Did you work for someone?
So I did go solo right off the bat. That's not something I recommend to everyone. I'm not going to lie, I'm 46. So being a more mature person.
You look much younger, by the way. I thought like 30s.
Sorella. I mean, just good skincare, honestly. But no, being in the permanent makeup industry first, I really quickly realized that those permanent makeup clients were going to soon become my aesthetics clients, and the transition was going to be beautiful. Plus, I love to give credit to my sweet husband, who was my financial backer, as I like to say, and he really, honestly, not only gave me just support in general, but monetarily support, so I could literally hop right into a single, solo esthetician space. So yeah.
And so we have like a lot of our listeners are first time estheticians, whether they're young, much older. They're all like I guess it's because I'm a newer esthetician,
Yeah.
so you kind of attract what you
absolutely.
are. But what would you say starting out, like how did you attract your clientele? And was it difficult at first?
It honestly wasn't. Again, I kind of just think it was something that was very natural and organic that happened. Um, a lot of those clients that were permanent makeup clients quickly became my aesthetics clients.
Mm-hmm.
I offer a full array of services. I've kind of niched back a little bit on those as the years have gone, but I truly leaned into what I was doing, so became very passionate about it. And that passion in turn fed into my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And then word of mouth got out. I have a little group of ladies. I love to call them my little Robeson Ranch. There's a little retirement community not far. And those were my original permanent makeup
Oh,
clients.
okay.
And then before I knew it, they were sharing that with all their friends in their little community. And before that, I mean, I think now I have about 15 of them I see on the
Oh,
regular.
wow.
And they've started saying, shh, be quiet. Don't share her with anyone else because we
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to get appointments with her. So
Mm-hmm.
just honestly, a lot of word of mouth quickly grew my business.
But I think that's like good point. I think a lot of estheticians, they don't understand the value of like localized
Hmm.
communities, because I got a lot of also clients from, there's this group in Miami called Girls Gone Social.
I love it.
And at first I was looking for models and
Hmm.
I asked the girls, and like 10 of them came to get a facial, and then it's a word of mouth thing. And I've
Totally.
heard that before. Like I've heard started taking horseback riding lessons,
Oh, fellow horse
and
girl.
yeah, and then my client was like, you need to go hang out at like the ranch more and like
Yes.
become friends with the girls, because
Yes.
they will, like, once they find an esthetician, they'll, like, it's word of mouth.
Hmm.
So I like that you said that, because I think that these days they tell us just use social media, that's
Yeah.
going to get you clients and stuff
Hmm.
like that, but sometimes it's also word of mouth.
To me, word of mouth has been invaluable to me, and I make sure that my clients know that. I
Mhm.
appreciate them so much, and I do little things for them here and there, just simply for referring, those amazing people to me, because truthfully, those have become some of my best clients. I mean,
Mhm.
they are on my books every month. They listen to me. They're invested in my business. I mean, they
Mhm.
truly are. They know all the little traveling things I do, and they come in and they ask me. So yeah, I cannot say enough about word of mouth. Social media is great, and it's great for so many different platforms, but truthfully, you kind of what is it? You attract your vibe. Your
Yeah.
your vibe attracts your tribe.
Mhm.
I've definitely gleaned and leaned into that a lot, and
Mhm.
word of mouth has been invaluable for me.
And the retail and merchandising degree,
Hmm.
does that come into play at all in you being an esthetician?
It does a lot. And I've learned that I did so many different marketing classes whenever I was in school. Of course, just learning retail as a whole. I worked in retail for quite a few years,
Mhm.
managed some stores. So that is really invaluable with how I retail a lot of my products within my space and my business, quite frankly.
If you can give us a tip or maybe a few tips for retailing,
Mhm.
what would you say?
So I think the biggest thing is just don't be pushy. Just let it be very organic, and honestly just communicate with your clients and help them understand the reason why you're recommending something. And
Mhm.
if they fully understand that, then they're more likely to purchase that product. And also, what you trust, what products you use yourself is what they're going to trust and
Mhm.
purchase. So
Yeah.
I find that's to be true when it comes to retail, honestly.
Yeah,
It's the
it's like
best
the
thing.
products that I love the most are the ones that
Yeah,
sell the best, and the
absolutely.
ones that I'm like, are the ones that I can't sell.
No. And I mean, you are a walking billboard
Mhm.
for your business, truthfully. So if you're using products within your space that you truly trust yourself, of course your client is going to naturally trust those products, and they see the results happening within you, then they're going to want what you have.
Of course. So I guess let's talk a bit about the evolution of you being a skin therapist, because at first was the permanent makeup.
Hmm.
When did you first find out about Sorella, start bringing them into your practice?
So this is a story that at some point can kind of get emotional for me, and because it's such a poignant moment in my career, and it was early on in my career.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Dallas at the skin show. I had attended the year prior, I believe, in esthetician school.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I actually was kind of on the fence. I look back at that moment now, and I was on the fence whether or not to even attend that show, quite frankly, because I didn't have anyone to go with.
Mm-hmm.
I was a new esthetician. And I was using a product line that was considered advanced in my treatment space from school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was happy with it. And I was just at the point where I was like, well, do I really need to go find anything? What do I need? But again, leaning more into the holistic side, one thing that was missing from that line was a facial oil.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went into that trade show that day simply just seeking out a facial oil. I walked into that space, and if you've been to a skincare show, you walk in and you can be quickly overwhelmed by all the vendors and everyone that's there and just all the things coming at you. But I walked around for probably an hour. And then I like to say, like a beacon of light in the middle of that showroom floor was this beautiful display that had the big black letters that spelled out Sorella. And I'm like, ooh, what is that? I'm intrigued. Literally, it just drew me in.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked up to the booth, and Vanessa, who is our Sorella lead head educator, walked up to me. And that booth was probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 people deep all the way around the booth. And I wiggled my way through, and she said, can I help you? And I said, yes. I said, I'm looking for a facial oil. Do you have one?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, actually, we do. And she presented me with this beautiful little golden bottle called Facial Nectar. And it was actually a 3-in-1 product. And so we chatted for a couple of minutes. And she said, well, are you looking for a new line? And I'm like, not really. I'm kind of happy with the line I'm using, And she's like, well, my suggestion is, why don't you just take home a few products tonight, try them out for yourself. It was a 2-day show in Dallas. And so I was like, okay. So I think I bought 3 or 4 products, including the Facial Nectar oil, took them home, tried them that night, tried them the next morning, saw the results that quickly within my skin, and was like, oh, I'm sold.
Mm-hmm.
I had a tiny little nest egg that I had just been stashing away. No reason, knowing why, absolutely none. Took that little stash of cash, as I like to say, back to Dallas the next morning, and went straight up to Vanessa and said, I'm ready to partner. Let's go.
Wow.
And so that's how I partnered with the brand. And since then, the rest is history. I mean, I've been with them now for 8 years.
Wow.
Cannot believe it's been 8 years. I've had the opportunity to work at trade shows in the booth itself. I can't tell you how many trade shows I've done. I can't even keep up with.
Now you're like Vanessa.
Well, yes, exactly. And I love to tell Vanessa, now we've literally come full circle. She's our director of education.
Wow.
And so she and I, we like to say, are a couple of the OGs that are still rocking within the company. And yeah, it's just so cool to look back on, truthfully and honestly, and share our story. I mean, it's been a great one.
That's the perfect example of, like, you don't know what you don't know. So it's like sometimes you just think that what you have is like, that's it. You had your skincare line, but then when you explore and you experiment with other lines and stuff, sometimes you find oh my God, I have like my favorites from so many different lines because we're always getting sent products.
Exactly.
But sometimes it's just like one that I'll use randomly and I'm like, oh my God, this product is so good. Yeah. And I love the Facial Nectar.
Oh, it's so good.
Kathleen and I, we were at one of the shows recently and we kept like, every time we would get bored, we would just stop at the Sorella booth because it's so fun and it's so pretty. And like, I like trying the lip plumpers.
Oh yeah, our avocado lip hydrator treatment is just one of the, I mean, it keeps you coming back. It does.
What's your current like favorite products right now?
Oh gosh, that's so hard. I mean, of course, Facial Nectar has my heart for so many reasons, and I use it every single day. Probably right. Well, another one is Lemon Lightening Serum. It's our lightening and brightening serum. It truthfully changed my skin when I started using the line. I had a lot of melasma. I had a lot of pigmentation. I even had a lot of hormonal cysts going on around like my jawline. It immediately cleared that up.
Oh, wow.
Immediately. It is a phenomenal product. So I kind of lean into some of those favorites that really have transformed my own skin. So that's another one.
What's that one called again?
Lemon Lightening Serum.
I get the hormonal chin acne.
Yes, same girl.
So
same.
annoying.
It is very annoying.
I need to try that one.
It's so good.
So how has Sorella helped you, not just with like the actual products and helping your clients in the treatment room, but then also like supporting you as an esthetician?
Gosh. So again, when I started 8 years ago, they were just really starting to, they were pretty new. Sorella actually just turned 9 a couple weeks ago. And so education was just starting to get ramped up. And then, especially during COVID, when we were all shut down, it really ramped up. They were there for us in so many ways, but education was one of them. And again, I'm a huge believer in education. And so I really leaned into that during that time period. But they are literally, I like to say, just such a beautiful ecosystem. I mean, of course, they have beautiful products, but their marketing team is phenomenal. Of course, education team is great. But they're a full embodied line, meaning once you come to them, especially if you're a newer esthetician, they have it all for you. I mean, we have everything. So you don't really have to go outside of the box unless you want to find, other avenues to create such a successful business.
And what would you say is like the most important type of education to invest in as an esthetician starting out?
Oh, that's hard. I say find what lights your fire. Find what you're passionate about and then just dive in. And I mean really dive in. For me, obviously it was more holistic driven. So I was constantly researching and learning things that I could bring into my clients that would aid in, kind of leaning that direction. But yeah, I think as a beginning esthetician, just really leaning into education and also understanding that even as a seasoned esthetician, education never stops. This industry is booming and they have something new, like we were talking about earlier. You wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, there's something new to learn. So yeah, I just think really just leaning into just never stop learning, is what I say.
So for those that are holistic estheticians or who are more maybe attracted to the holistic side of things, what are some good holistic modalities that you've adopted over the years that you feel like, wow, they've truly made a difference in your clients?
So for me, I like to say it starts with our hands. I like to call my hands my third and my fourth eye. And I lean back into that more and more. We can tell so much with our bare hands. We can feel the temperature, the texture, the tone of the skin. We can feel the muscle structure. So my hands are my number one ultimate tools. The next, I love gua sha. I love lymphatic drainage. I really lean into both of those things. I do offer very few modalities in my treatment space just because I do lean more holistic, but I love microcurrent. That's something I utilize a lot, and some high frequency, and of course red light therapy as well. So, but yeah, I really rely on my hands.
Yeah, I'm very similar to you in that I rely on my hands and skincare.
Yeah.
And I feel like I haven't found the technology that really I feel like once you find good skincare, you can do so much with I think a lot of estheticians underestimate good quality skincare.
They do.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I mean, I just think that, sometimes less is more. Honestly, when it comes to skin, I like to say our skin is a very simple, complicated organ. Meaning that, if we treat it sometimes very simply, we get a lot better results than we do if we're pushing, 15 different products and all these different modalities. They're fun. And like I said, within the esthetician world, we have so much thrown at us on a constant rate with the new, shiny, pretty. But I've learned over the years that if I just lean into sometimes my original things that I started with, that I get better results that way. So.
I always like asking what message you would give to your younger self starting out.
Oh gosh. Okay, so that one's hard. I love to look back at this because, like I said, I feel like things have come so full circle for me now as an esthetician, and just personally and professionally. Looking back, growing up on a farm, I look way back and I realize how much I leaned into just nature and the things around me. I was putting things on I have two younger sisters, on their skin that I would treat them with wild things that were grown out in wild, and like mushrooms and things. They would have issues going on with their skin. We would be out playing, and I'm like, oh, I think this might work for you. And so I just grab it off of a tree trunk or whatever and put it on their skin. So I think intuitively, this goes way, way back for me. Yeah. It started years and years ago. And then as I've evolved, over time, it's truly just been something that's become really natural. My mom told me when I was little, she said, I think you're going to be one of two things. I think you're going to be a cosmetologist or a teacher growing up. And
You're kind of both.
I'm both. I truly am.
Yeah.
I told her that the other day. I was like, Mom, I'm both. I'm an educator. I love education and I love educating. And I'm also an esthetician. So, yeah. So,
Yeah, I think when I was little too, I used to mix little like potions and stuff together. Like I had my own little apothecary, but I didn't know what it was at the time. Or going to the beach, I'd put sand all over myself and be like, this is like a mud bath. I'm exfoliating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, so I think that's interesting because if you look back on moments like that, I remember one time my little sister got stung by a wasp and I intuitively just went and grabbed some mud from our little lake and put it on her. How did I know to do that as like a 10-year-old? It just intuitively, I feel like, was a part of me and has been a part of me all along. And so it's just become, again, really organic and natural.
Yeah. I think that also helps to kind of like define your path as an esthetician, your niche, when you really know who you are as a person. And I think it's never as complicated as we think it is. It's going back to like who you were as a child, really. That's like your true authentic self.
Exactly. And everyone's journey is different too. I mean, my journey is going to be completely different from your journey. I started a little what I consider late in life compared to some people in the industry. But that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't define who you are as an esthetician. Obviously my journey started a lot earlier in life. I just didn't know that it started early. So, yeah.
What do you hope to see in the holistic world of aesthetics?
I really want us to start kind of leaning into what that really means. And that's truthfully treating the skin many times from the inside out and kind of leaning into the overall treatment of what's going on with our clients. At Sorella, we like to say we treat your skin, but we also treat your soul. And that's something I truly do in my treatment space is I'm very intuitive I like to call myself an intuitive holistic esthetician. And I've coined myself that this year specifically because I've realized that I am treating more than their skin. I'm truly treating their soul at times and really leaning in and listening to what is going on in their day-to-day life. What is causing stress, what is causing all those things, because all of that is interconnected at the end of the day. And then that allows me to truly customize not only my treatment that I'm giving my clients during that moment, but also creating those rituals for them to take home with them. So those products to take home.
Is that something that within your first consultation, are you really asking deep questions to get like an overview? Or is that also something that over time you're like peeling back the onion?
Exactly. So I call myself a skin archaeologist.
Okay.
Or an onion is a great, because I kind of mentally, whether it's, peeling back the onion or uncovering the dirt by each layer, I do a quick little consult with them when I see them first, when they're first coming into my space for a facial. But then I always say the real work begins when you just start just intuitively, mostly listening very intently to them and what they're saying. Have they had a stressful day? Have they had a stressful year? What is going on in their life that is truly, honestly coming out in their skin? So each time I have them come in my space, we just chat. My facials are very proactive. So usually a client is, yes, they can relax if they want to have a silent facial, as I like to call it, or intuitively, I'm just asking them questions during that hour of that treatment, just asking them kind of, again, peeling back those layers and truly understanding what's going on within their skin.
Yeah, because sometimes like it'll be months later and they'll be like, oh, I forgot to tell you this. And it's like I'm like, oh, this is completely why you're breaking out. Like this makes total sense. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
So I think that's important to keep kind of asking questions as you go.
Single time they come in and you're like, oh, listen, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah. Okay. Mindset shifts were necessary for you to step into your current level of success.
Honestly, I think that's just getting back to my authentic self. Like really just leaning into that. Not trying to be someone. I'm not trying to be I love to tell my girls always, my daughters, be original, be who you are, be authentic to who you are, but also really be honest and open with people. I feel like that authenticity many times is kind of for the lack of a better word, just ignored or shoved aside. But I think just being truly who you are as a person will make you a better esthetician. I really truthfully believe that.
And how has becoming an esthetician, I know you said you became an esthetician later on,
Mm-hmm.
how has that changed you as a person, as a human being?
I think it's made me a better listener. Like, honestly, like I was born with loads of patience. My mother always told me you have tons of patience. But as I've gotten older, I feel like just sitting back and being quiet and listening truthfully to what, someone is telling you is really invaluable. I mean, it's just invaluable to us as estheticians. So just taking in, being very intuitive to what the person is telling you, I feel like has really helped elevate my space, my treatment space.
What kind of impact do you hope to leave on your clients in the industry as a whole?
Oh, that's a hard question. Impact. Oh my gosh.
Well, you're already making an impact.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just learning to be happy with what they have. I mean, I've just last year and into this year, I really just want my clients to understand that, guess what? We're all going to age.
Yeah.
We're all going to have things about ourselves that are either make us insecure or that we're unhappy with. But I truthfully, I'm calling it kind of the Pamela Anderson effect, if you so be, because that's kind of, happening right now in the industry. Just be happy with what you have and who you are. I don't care if it's pigmentation, breakouts. Everyone is beautiful. They say true beauty starts from the inside and exudes outwardly. And I truthfully believe that. If you're happy with yourself on the inside, you can't help but be beautiful on the outside. I mean, it's just, it's the way it works. So.
I know. I hope that in the future we see more movements like Pamela Anderson's making, because it's exhausting. Currently now I'm more into like holistic aesthetics. I'm more attract like my type of people. But when I first started, I worked somewhere where the clients that would come were more like models and social media influencers and stuff. And I was always in shock as to like the little things they would notice about themselves that I was like, I am looking at your face and I didn't even like see that.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's sad. Like it honestly would make me really sad.
It is. And I have two daughters. I have a 19 and a 17-year-old daughters. And I realized very early on in my motherhood, way before I became an esthetician, that I wanted them to be comfortable in their own skin at all times. I don't care if it was, their skin or their body or whatever it is. I want them to be truly happy with who they are and what they present, because again, that's going to make them beautiful on the inside and out. I mean, let's be honest. But growing up, I was also made fun of many times by other girls. Can be so mean.
Oh my God, yeah.
People can be so mean. So having big lips and this beauty mark on my face, and many times I was made fun of, and I think I just learned to become resilient from that and confident in myself. And people ask all the time, how do you get that confidence? And I'm like, I'm just happy with who I am. And I think that leads to my confidence, honestly.
Yeah. And I think like what you said, that we're walking billboards, not just with our faces and how we look, but like the energy we exude and the confidence we exude.
Absolutely.
So if you're confident in your skin and yourself, you're like inspiring your clients to also embrace themselves.
I mean, I have, your skin's perfect. I'm like, please come closer.
I know.
Do you
I
see
get
the
that
large
too. And
pores?
I'm like, if I take off my makeup right now.
Do you see the pigmentation? Do you see, I mean, if I wanted to, truthfully, I could get up in that 10 times magnifying mirror that I loathe and tell my clients to toss in the trash, please. But I don't. I just am happy. I'm happy where my skin is. Of course, we can always make little improvements, but at the end of the day, we do have to live with what we have. I mean, you can't improve on some things. They just are the way they are.
And how do you feel Sorella supports like your mission as an esthetician, your philosophy?
Their philosophy has always been build the barrier, keep the barrier intact, or help build up the barrier. And again, they lean into that holistic side of treating the skin. They have botanicals that are infused in all of their products. And so I feel like that fell beautifully in line with how I personally treat the skin day to day, not only with myself, but within my clients. And that translates for me and for my clients. They realize, oh, she's going to use things that are more holistic based, which, everyone, I feel like in the industry, I know you love it, I love it, but I feel like the industry as a whole is kind of leaning into that more holistic driven way of treating, especially the skin, honestly.
Yeah,
So
because I think it sets us apart from,
it does.
like, I think people want more connection. They want more of deeper, like to feel more beautiful. Like, I feel like people remember how you make them feel more than how you make them look, if that
Right.
makes sense.
No, totally.
So yeah, there's more to it. It's more than skin.
It is.
Deep,
It's
yeah.
truthfully more than skin deep. And, I love to treat my client's soul. I mean, let's be honest. Estheticians, we're part-time therapists. We just don't get paid for it.
Yeah.
We are. We sit there and we listen to them, and they pour sometimes their souls out to us on the daily. And so, listening to those clients, many times, I'll be honest with you, Sorella has a beautiful amount of products that I can truthfully customize for my clients. And I like to say, all right, let's go on a Sorella sensory story, because that's what I like to tell. All of our products sometimes have beautiful scents to them. We have something called Melt Away Cleansing Ritual, which is a pre-cleanse that you can apply to your clients. So if I have a client walk in and I know they've just had a stressful day, morning, I immediately reach for that, because it's going to start calming their sensory level and bringing all of that down. So that's just completely aside of what it does specifically for the skin. I'm immediately starting to bring down that level, anxiety, stress, whatever it may be, just with the sensory experience alone. So that's invaluable to
That's
me.
beautiful. I really like that a lot.
Me too. Great.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor and a pleasure, and I'm excited about Philly and Dallas.
Yes. Do you know the booth number?
I do not know,
Okay.
but we will be posting that on our Sorella Apothecary Pro Instagram page.
Okay.
So please, yes.
Well, we can put it in the show notes.
Yes, please come by the booth if you're there in Philly or Dallas. Dallas is my home base. It's where it all started for me. So please come stop by the booth and say hi.
You can't miss the booth. It's gorgeous.
No, you can't. Literally cannot miss our beautiful
And you know
booth.
what to try now.
Yes, you do. And again, I would love to give you a warm Texas hug. I tell everyone, please come by and say hi.
And where can we follow you?
So you can follow me on my business on my Instagram. It's called Be Beautiful, YOU Beauty Bar. And I am located in North Texas. I'm a little bit north of Dallas and Fort Worth. In a little tiny studio on a square there, but it's my little haven, and I love it. So yeah, go follow me, give me a follow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again. Appreciate it.
Bye, Estes.